I know you are incredibly passionate about this new super drug that can save lives of people with overdoses, and obviously, like, incredibly important to you for where you've been at and being in those scenarios where your life got saved as well.
Yeah, man.
Show the viewers naloxone. That's right, isn't it? That's how you
Yeah, man.
pronounce it.
And,
Show us
and
naloxone and how you can use it and how you would go best advising people to where to get it from, how they can get one, and all those kind of things.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know what it is, Harry? It's not a new drug, right? So
Ah,
so this drug here, we call it naloxone in England. People who listen might know it better as Narcan. Narcan is the brand name in the United States. It's not the drug which was used in Pulp Fiction, so we're not fucking pushing it into people's hearts, which some people think, right? But it's been around. It's been around since the 1960s.
wow.
So basically, what I do, a big part of my work at the minute is I travel up and down the country and I work with people who use drugs or people with lived and living experience of addiction. And we get these guys and girls from wherever they are in the community. I work with national drug treatment providers or like NHS bodies or kind of local drug and alcohol commissioners, public health teams. And then basically what we do is I train up groups of individuals who've lived a life like I had, and we train them up to be able to use this. And then they go out into the community with backpacks full of the stuff, and then go and talk to other drug users in the community about like overdose awareness, about drug related deaths. They do a demonstration on how to use it, and then we physically give these kits away, right? Because the reality right now is that um, across England and Wales, like drug-related deaths are higher than they've ever been before. So I think there was 4,907 drug-related deaths across England and Wales um, last year, right? That amounts to about 18 people who died today of a needless and avoidable drug-related death. Two-thirds of all drug-related deaths that happen across the UK involve an opiate, like heroin, like methadone, like codeine, like fentanyl, right? So it's a specific class of drugs. Two-thirds of those deaths nationally involve those opiates, and this drug's going to reverse that overdose. Do you know what I mean? So typically, if people want access to naloxone, they would either have to be in drug treatment already, because that's where this kit typically sits. There's loads of that which is kept in drug treatment services. So if you're a client of a drug treatment service and you're going in to get your own help and support, realistically, what should happen is the organization should be telling you about this, training you how to use it, and giving you a kit, right? However, if you're not in drug treatment for whatever reason, or you're a member of the general public, you never get to know about this, right? And people who are dying today on our streets and pavements. Do you know what I mean? But for these lads and lasses to look like they're just sleeping on the floor. Do you know what I mean? Like, and typically because we can be a fucking closed-minded nation around people who desperately like them, who desperately need help and support and our love and our time. Typically, what we do with those people is we give them a wide berth. We fucking walk right round them. We no longer, we don't kind of stop and go, hang on a minute, is this fucking person in trouble? Do you know what I mean? And that would be kind of one of the signs and symptoms, actually, is somebody who's like, is non-responsive. Do you know what I mean? Sounds like they're snoring, but they're not. They're in respiratory depression. Like they have pinpoint pupils. So typically when you use opiates, your pupils are going to go pinpoint, pale and clammy skin, cyanosis, which is like blue lips, blue fingertips. Do you know what I mean? But like the one thing that I'm always looking for is that a person won't wake with a shout or a shake. They're unresponsive. So like for me, and many others like me, I walk all over the streets of the UK shaking these people. When everyone else is taking a wide berth and going, oh, look at him or her, I'm going up to them and I'm giving them a gentle shake. All right, brother. You all right, mate? You all right? Fuck off, leave us alone. If I get a fuck off and leave us alone, that's mint, because it means they're okay, they're alive. Do you know what I mean, right? But there's been many times when we shake people and say, all right, brother, Harry, can you hear me? Harry, non-responsive. Do you know that for me is a tell? That's a fucking red flag that I'm going to phone 999. And then literally, if I've got one of these kits, which everyone can carry, then I would use this kit. So it's really simple to use, Harry, right? It's like, I remember like there's the three twists is the way to assemble the kit, right? So in ordinary kits, I don't have one to hand. This is wrapped up in cellophane. This is like a demonstrator kit, right?
Okay.
So it's a prescription only medicine as well. So it's not something I've fucking knocked up in my kitchen, right? Like ambulances who come out to emergency call outs, they use this drug. Do you know, it's used globally. It's on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines. It's renowned. It's a lifesaver, right? So literally, the proper kit it's sealed to keep it clinically like tidy, and then you would tear off the red strip, and then it's 3 twists. So the first twist cracks the packet open, and then inside you have a 2 ml pre-filled syringe, 2 needles, and some instructions, right? So then the second twist is there's a grey cap on the top, Harry. Yeah. So you literally take the grey cap off the top, and then the third twist is literally you're going to get the pin and you're going to pop that on the end. So this, how I'm talking you through this now, right, is what I train people who use drugs to do when they're in the community. This is how they just work with anybody and everybody, right? So you'll notice in there's 5 doses, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then every time we give naloxone, it goes into the top of the arm or it goes into the fatty part of a leg and it goes through clothing. It's literally a case of if a person won't wake with a shout or a shake and they're showing the signs and symptoms, you're going to phone 999. You're going to tell the call handler you've come across somebody who's unresponsive. You think it might be a drugs overdose. You've got naloxone and you're going to use it. The call handlers have crib sheets which will talk you through how to use it, because you can imagine you're going to be really anxious, aren't you? But the paramedics are aware of this drug. They'll tell you how to use it. So it's literally just a case of you're going to take the cap off the syringe, and then you're going to go straight through the clothes and into the top of the arm, intramuscular, and you're going to inject to the first black line. You're going to remove that. You're going to rest it in the cradle of the kit. So it's going to sit back in there and you're going to wait 2 to 3 minutes to see if a person responds. If they don't respond, you're going to pick it back up. You're going to go back in, inject to the next black line, and you're going to keep doing that, Harry, every 2 to 3 minutes until a person comes round, right? When they come round, it's literally just a case of you're going to close that up. You're never going to sheath the needle. And then you're going to give that to the paramedics, and that way the paramedics know what dose you've given somebody. Do you know what I mean? Right? And you're going to stay with the person, even if the paramedics aren't there, you're going to stay with them until such time as the paramedics arrive. Because what people think about this drug, right? People who use drugs who are in an overdose situation, right? They don't know that they were dying. That's the first thing to remember, right? So when we administer this drug to them and it brings them round, it can bring them round quite rapidly. And they can maybe be a bit upset thinking that you've given them naloxone and you've blown their buzz, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is their recollection was that they'd used heroin and they were having a nice buzz, because at the end of the day, like for anyone who's used heroin, and there's millions of your viewers now thinking, well, fuck, what's he on about? Used heroin? We don't use heroin. Well, you fucking do, because you take cocodamol. Do you know what I mean? You take morphine, like like we take tramadol. We all take fucking. Have you ever took any cocodamol, Harry?
Yeah.
So you've used opiates, right? So you've used pharmaceutical grade opiates from the chemist, right? So you take enough cocodamol, it'll fucking kill you because of an opiate overdose. Do you know what I mean? This would bring you round, right? So the thing with the people who've been in that overdose situation is they don't know that they were unresponsive. They don't know that they had stopped breathing. They don't know that they were dying. They just think now that you've used this drug and it's took the heroin out of the system, and it hasn't. What naloxone does is it temporarily removes the opiates from the opiate receptor in the brain, right? When you inject heroin, it kind of makes its way to the opioid receptor in the brain. It sits on top of it and it caps it, and it tells your body to stop breathing. Your body forgets to stop breathing. Naloxone has a stronger affinity for that receptor site. So when we put naloxone in, it makes its way to that receptor site and knocks the heroin off, and then naloxone caps it. So the heroin's still floating around trying to get back on that receptor, but it can't because naloxone's got a stronger affinity. It binds to it, but it's short-lasting naloxone, so it lasts 20 to 30 minutes, in which case after 20 to 30 minutes, the naloxone dissipates and then the heroin can reattach, meaning the person can go back into an overdose. So it's really important that when we've given naloxone, that we use gentle, calm words with the person who's come round. We remind them that that there's an ambulance come. It's best for them to see the paramedic, and we stay with them, man. Because if the ambulance isn't there within 20 minutes, there's a chance that person can go back into an overdose, in which case you're going to pick that back up and go back in again. Do you know what I mean? It's an absolute lifesaver, man. And we've done some really, I'm saying we, I suppose we have, me and the peers who I work with, done some really good work. So we've done like over 60 projects in the last 3 years across like England and Wales, which has been fucking mad. 60 odd, man, like everywhere, every area in Wales, London, fucking the Midlands, just the Northeast, everywhere is just like we're trying to do everything we can to flood the place with naloxone. And
Yeah.
I guess for me, what would be dead important would be like, I don't know, maybe some of your guests getting it and carrying it. And it's really easy for people to do that.